What's up, boys? Mo here, and in this video I want to walk you guys through how you can make and manipulate people's minds pretty much with these 5 psychological triggers in order to make high converting ads that can make you millions of dollars a year. Now, don't mind the new setup and the shitty lighting here. I am actually on the move back in my parents' trenches, but anyways, when it comes to making high converting ads, the biggest mistake I see a lot of people making is they make ads based off looks and preference. Okay, let me spell that out here for you, whatever, right? And this is the number one mistake you can actually do when it comes to making ads, whether it's static ads, video ads, or any type of ad you're making, okay? Just because it looks good, it doesn't mean it will convert. And you need to learn how to pretty much manipulate people's psychology, right? With these 5 tricks that I'm going to show you in order to make winning ads. Now, before you even make any single ad or you launch any ad, I'm always going to ask you to ask yourself these 3 questions. Okay. One is, who is this ad for? Okay. Have you clearly identified the avatar that is going to click on this ad? 2 is the what. Okay. What is the person going to feel and think of when they look at your ad? And if that is not a clear answer that ties directly into the solution of your product, then it's also a bad ad. And 3 is you. Would you ever click on this ad if you were the ideal avatar, and does it feel and look convincing enough? And if you can get all 3 psychological checks right here, then you are producing a new ad. So now let's dive into the deceiving or the legally deceiving tricks that I like to do or make sure that we have when it comes to making ads. And you don't have to have all 5 of these for every single time, but you need to be able to understand actually how to do this. So the number one psychological trigger is being able to challenge your avatar and your ideal customer's beliefs. This is called the cognitive dissonance. And the strategy behind this, in a simple term, is finding limiting beliefs your audience holds about themselves or your product and be able to flip them. Okay. For example, you want to be healthy, right? But you don't exercise regularly or eat a nutritious diet. So what does that mean? You can pretty much go ahead and create an ad that looks or feels like you can lose fat without working out or without eating healthy. And if you can do that, then guess what? You've already interrupted somebody's normal preface, right? Somebody's normal state of thinking the solution that they need. And then you're making them rethink what they thought they already knew. So everybody knows in order to lose fat, what do they have to do? Work out or eat clean. But then now you see gut health products and tea products and Herbie products and all this and that saying, hey, you can actually lose fat without doing both of those. And by doing that and helping people visualize that, they're now making people click on their ads and actually turning them into sales. Here's some really good examples. Okay. Number 1 is this brand called Momofuku. Okay. How do we normally see sauce? Right? Not in a cup. What are these guys doing now? They're saying this sauce is so good, you can actually drink it. And by doing that, they're interrupting the normal way, right? People actually view sauce and they're saying, hey, you can try this sauce out because it is so fucking good. You don't have to worry about, not liking it. And then on top of that, boom, it's not watered down, it's squeezable, it's high fructose, it's restaurant grade, yada, 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 right? So adding it with benefits. Really good example of how to display your product in a new way that allows people to rethink what a normal sauce bottle may look like. Here's another example, okay? Your sweet tooth's new best friend. What is this doing? People love chocolate. This is the way they're used to looking at chocolate, right? Tasty looking, dark looking, melty, etc. But now this headline is saying, hey, your new sweet tooth or your same sweet tooth actually now has a new solution because this is no sugar, it's diabetic friendly, you don't have to worry about that, it's gut friendly, and it's filled with green ingredients. Okay, here's another really good example from Primal Queen. Okay, nobody likes to eat beef liver, or a lot of people don't. So what are they doing? Tag a friend who needs to try beef liver. Why? Because it has X, Y, Z benefits that, again, people don't really know about beef liver. So what are they doing? They're interrupting the viewer's normal and they're forcing them to rethink a normal decision of them not liking beef liver, of them not needing to eat chocolate or not being allowed to eat chocolate because they're diabetic, or them not wanting to try a new sauce because They think they're not going to like it by what? By doing this visual interrupt that's making people rethink, okay, their beliefs and actually consider buying your product. And one more time here, okay, snack the smart way. This is a really good looking chocolate bar, right? That looks like a Snickers maybe, but guess what? It's high protein, it's full of vitamins, it's low sugar, it's no chocolate. So same thing that you like, right? But interrupting the way you think about it. And if you can do that in some of these ads that you're making, then now your click-through rate and the people who are looking at your ads, we'll do some eyeballs here, are going to have their jaws dropped like that. Wow, right? So hopefully you get the point. Next is loss framing. Okay, failed attempts. This is really important, and this is probably one of the most famous and the best converting ads, I would say, or framework that you can use. Okay, showing all the failed solutions before your product. Okay, every single time somebody decides to buy a product, subconsciously they're thinking about, is this going to work for me, or is it going to be like the last thing I tried, right? Whether it was a shirt that shrunk, whether it's a product that tasted like shit, whether it's a product that didn't work, right? AG1 does this really good in this ad right here, right? Before and after state by showing them everything they've used, right? Multivitamin pills, and then the new way to actually get that deficiency that they're looking for. Let me skin as well, or let me gummies. Here, do the same exact thing again. What are they doing? This is your skin, right? Holes, bumpy, etc. And then guess what? 28 days after with this new mechanism, which is their gummies, right? This one I love, honestly, one of my favorites. It's AI made, you can kind of tell here, or I think so at least. And then guess what? This subconscious croissant, okay, which is pretty much looked at as a unhealthy kind of like meal that people usually take. And then guess what are they saying? No more veggie battles. Okay, don't argue with your kid no more about eating their greens. Let them eat what they like, right? Croissants. And then guess what? Make them eat this candy, right? So what are you doing? You're pretty much showing the failed solutions, which is you arguing with your kid in this example, or you taking supplements before, or you trying to kind of lose weight or get your skin fixed with like lighting, whatever it is. And then what are they doing? They're saying, hey, here's our product and here's what you can expect to happen after, right? A happy kid eating candy. So very, very good framework here. And again, these are some of the most important things you need to understand when it comes to making your ads. That's why I always say never look at how things look, but how do they make people feel, right? Who are they going to make people, or what people are they going to click on this, and why would they even click on it in the first place? This is also a really good one, okay? Authority bias. People want someone smarter to tell them what to do. Same reason why you're watching this video. The same reason why a lot of people use social proof or want to hear from doctors and podcasters and famous people on what they should buy and when they should buy it. And you want to ask yourself, when you're making these types of ads, okay, when you're using the authority bias framework in order to manipulate people to click on your ads, are you doing this in the right way? Who does your audience look up to, and what do they want, or who do they want validation from? Here's a few really good examples. Okay, Thesis sells supplements for your brain. What are they doing here? The CEO's secret. Does this guy look somebody famous? No. He's also Asian, right? Not to be racist here, but unless it's Jackie Chan, I don't really know any other Asians. So what are they doing here? They're kind of playing with your mental framework and saying, this is a famous CEO, right? And he's using our product. Therefore, you should go ahead and use our product too, right? What are they doing? Using the authority bias to make people think that big CEOs are using their product. And by doing that, they're manipulating people to say, you know what, CEOs are taking this product, I want to go ahead and do it too. Here's another one by Rise, okay? You guys may know who this is, Eva Mendes. I honestly don't, and I think not a lot of people would know either. But what are they doing? They're using the social proof element, kind of, right, with an authority bias. So Eva Mendes, whoever that is, right, loves Rise, right? So they're taking your regular customer review ads, but they're adding more of an authority bias into it by making you feel like somebody really important is buying our product. Therefore, you should buy our product too, right? Whispering in benefits. Here's another way to do this, right? This guy is Paulo Costa, right? UFC fighter. Some people may know him, some people not, right? Dr. Ben, etc. But what are they doing here? They're trying to portray this authority bias on why you should take NADs and why these famous people with authority are taking it, right? Creating that herd-like mentality where people want to copy what other successful people are doing. Then you can do it without visuals, okay? You can just say, hey, we have 70 million Americans suffer with sleep issues, right? This is authority bias, but it's reversed. They're not telling you, hey, we have somebody who's buying our product. No, instead they're saying, there's a lot of fucking people who have this problem, and you're probably one of them. So click on our ad and see how we go ahead and we make sleep better. Okay, really good reverse psychology here. And then lastly, right, this is like a doctor looking like, again, person, Dr. Anika right here. She may be famous, maybe not, but essentially what are they doing? Authority bias. They're showing you that a doctor recommends our product, right? You can literally have a UGC creator put a doctor's coat here and simply be like, hey, combat hormonal weight gain and restore energy. Why? Because it's going to feel like somebody with authority, like a doctor, is recommending your product. This is a very dirty way to legally, again, convince people that your product is actually being used by authority figures and celebrity figures. And it's going to pretty much brainwash them to be like, you know what, I want to go ahead and click on this ad and try this product. This framework is honestly very undervalued and underused, but it works like magic every single time I see somebody doing it. And even when we try it out, it always hits. Okay, when you address objections before the customer brings them up. And a lot of times this is not going to work for cold top of the funnel out the gate. You have to have some top of funnel awareness, right? Whether you're for your industry, your market, or your product, but it's pretty much just you reframing the objections beforehand. Okay, here's a really good example. Our noodles are not cheap. People think of, again, Momofuku and their noodles, right, or you think of noodles as a cheap product to buy. But ultimately, they're saying, hey, guess what? You're going to click on this ad and our noodles are not cheap, so we want you to be ready and understand why. Okay. And then what are they doing? They're addressing common objections, right? On why noodles usually suck and why ours are so much better. Therefore, they're going to cost so much more. Same thing here, right? Buy another supplement brand. It's not cheap. Okay. They're using this for a July 4th, I believe, sale it was, or Labor Day sale. But they're saying, look, sure, we can knock the price tag down, but then it would simply be cheap. It wouldn't show results. It wouldn't be clinically proven. It wouldn't boost metabolism, and it wouldn't significantly improve your gut health. So what are they doing? They're addressing all the common FAQs and walking somebody through why they should pay a higher price for their product. And that's the type of marketing that I always tell. The problem with your funnel, your product, isn't that it costs too cheap or it costs too much. The fact is you're just not doing a good enough job portraying the value that you bring as a brand or as a product for your customers to buy from you. Right? And here's one more time, right? It's a bit expensive. Sure, we understand it. We're going to cross that out. Now it's on sale, right? So again, what are they doing? Addressing common objections first. And they're telling you, oh my God, this works really good. Go ahead and try it out. And these are the type of ads you want to be looking at. Okay. These ads work like magic every single time, especially if you're qualified to do that with the product and your brand you do have right now. And last but not least, final trick of the day is going to be the social proof and scarcity. Okay, pretty straightforward. I don't think I have to talk too much about this, but we want what others have heard and think, and we also don't want to miss out. So if you can help people understand that by making these statics that you're going to be making, then guess what? They're going to buy from you. Okay, there's different ways to do this. Don't just think about adding 5-star reviews and saying 1 billion servings and using a doctor or whatever it is, right? Here's an example. Become a Magnum male. What are they doing? They're showing you the after state. Okay, they're showing you what you aspire to become and what people are looking like. Therefore, they're using social proof and they're saying, guess what? Here's what you could look like. Try our product. Or people like this are using our product. You should too, right? Here's a visual way to do a before and after, right? So simple before and afters also show social proof, right? This is a new format that I'm seeing a lot right now, which is adding a bunch of UGC and product pictures, adding these 5-star reviews like you see here, and saying, guess what, ladies, the proof is in the pudding, like this ad right here. People are using it, you should too. Here's another example, right? For a hair care brand, same exact format they're using, right? A lot of different phases, right? Very minimal copy, and then plugging in the offer. And then here again, we see that again with before and afters, right? And then adding a highlight of the product. So there's so many different ways to kind of portray every single one of these frameworks, but these are the 5 frameworks you want to make sure you're trying to portray every single time you make an ad. So hopefully you guys got some value out of this video. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Let me know what else you guys want to learn from me, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.